Welcome to Niggas Eatin, a tastefully offensive podcast with your hosts, Rory, forgot my name, and
Temi.
the snack edition.
This is a snack edition.
This is not a full episode. This is just like a 15-20 minute thing where we talk about a particular subject, in this case
Donald Glover's This Is America.
Or as he's appropriately called, Childish
Gambino.
Gambino.
Mm-hmm. You already know how this is going to go.
Yep. Do you want to start us off, Tim?
Yeah, we do. We, meaning I.
I do that too. We do that too.
So on this past Saturday, the 5th, Cinco de Mayo, Donald Glover was the host and the musical guest on the long-running variety
Saturday Night Live
show Saturday Night Live.
It's supposed to be 15 minutes.
Oh, right. Anyway, so during the broadcast, he released a new song and a new music video online called This Is America. A
piece of shit?
No. In my case, a very timely, pointed piece of art with his longtime collaborator, Hiro Murai. And, who directs and produces Atlanta, along with directing some other shows, and has worked in Gambino's camp for a while. Anyway, the internet went crazy, and some people pointed to a lot of the things in the video that spoke to the state of America, particularly how...
Can I? Is that why it's called This Is America?
Yes, it is.
You know who would have come up with that?
You're going to tell me.
Kindergartner.
I should ask Elijah next time I see him.
You should.
Yeah. Anyway, the internet went wild, and, now everybody since last night has been reposting the video and clips and pointing out different...
things in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Why it's so great and amazing and revolutionary, and oh my God, we lost Kanye, but guess who we gained?
Childish Gambino. So right off the top, I think this video was great. I think it was a slam dunk in terms of publicity and marketing for, Donald Glover and his brand, since he's about to go on tour in the fall. And he's about to be in the next Star Wars side story movie. His show Atlanta is just wrapping up its second season, and he just had this, really great episode, and he's releasing more music. So I thought it was great. What do you think, Rory?
Well, you said it was a marketing strategy, and I just think it's funny how we're using Black Death as a marketing strategy in this day and age of Donald Trump. So that's what I think about that.
Rory, get your tea.
my tea's already here. It's halfway gone.
So what did you think?
Well, first I thought it was a boring song. It wasn't a bop like Redbone. Redbone was a bop.
I disagree. This one's a bop. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Honestly, all summer people are going to be saying, "Get your money, black man."
Yeah, that's true. But it was boring. And I don't know if it was the song or because I saw the music video with the song, and that the music video made this song boring for me. But I just wasn't grooving to it.
Okay, not feeling it.
But he has this allusion to the Charleston massacre, which, in the context of,
remind people of the Charleston massacre because some people forgot.
Really, that's when Dylan Roof, some ugly troglodyte, nasty white thing, he went in and he murdered. He first prayed with them and then he murdered them.
Yeah, and he murdered 10 people in a church.
Yeah,
that's the
so that's the Charleston massacre, and because this is in the context of a music video, and because, as you said, this is in the context of a year where Atlanta's wrapping up, his tour is coming on.
Star Wars is coming out. He has new music on the way.
Right. It seems like, what can I do to make a statement, but also how can I market this?
You could say slavery was a choice.
Yeah. And, to each his own, but it just doesn't sit right that he would do something like that. And that's where my main issue comes in. Because I was fine. I would have been lukewarm to it if it was just this is America. Let me like shuck and jive on some cars, and then there's background things happening, and the children are dancing, and let me make some weird faces. That's fine. But the first time he shoots the guy playing the guitar, he's doing it in this like very over exaggerated motion and like pose, and it's just like you're turning this into entertainment. And I get that. And somebody pointed this out on Twitter. Don't know their name, because again we do research on this show. That it reminded them of A Clockwork Orange when
He's running at the end.
no. The singing in the rain, I'm singing in the rain as he's raping someone.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In A Clockwork Orange, and how this is like an upbeat tempo and a happy song, but then he's like shooting people and murdering people, and it's about like how black people are treated in this country. And it's like even before Clockwork Orange, like I think there's like a James Cagney movie where like they're playing like happy Dante music while like he's killing people. So it's like this has been like in the media. Scorsese does it,
Right, like
Tarantino
using
does
that juxtaposition.
Right.
Yeah.
and it's like that's like high school TV production levels of commentary now, because it's been done so much and it's been done better, you know. And it's like this entertainment thing where it's like Michael Hanukkah in Funny Games, which is why I don't like Funny Games, where it's his 1997 and the 2004 American remake, I think.
Sure.
Where it's like a whole bunch of violence in the film, and the point of the film is to lure you in with the sexiness and appeal that movies give to violence, and then at the end punish you for it. But he was one who made it, and it's like you can't do that. That's like a gotcha, but like you got yourself because you're the one doing this. So that's what I feel like that happy jaunty music juxtaposed with violence is. But for the longest time, I've been an advocate of not sharing those videos of people being murdered by the police, the actual like iPhone videos.
Right.
And being tasteful and showing and what you show about murder, like the aftermath, the family, them as a person, as opposed to, because a lot of what we know about Mike Brown, a lot of what we know about Ian Sidney Jones, Rika Boyd, Eric Garner, we only know their murder. We might know that, this is a daughter, this is a father, but we don't really know about them, and we don't know about like their family afterward. Like Erica Garner died.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eric Garner's daughter.
Yes, daughter.
And so there's a book called Scenes of Subjection by Saidiya Hartman, who is amazing, and it's a really good book. It's a really dense book. It took me like 3 years to read, because it's not academic or anything, but it's just like so dense, and it's like a big mindfuck. But in it she asks, are we witnesses to confirm the truth of what happened in the face of world-destroying capacities of pain, the distortions of torture, the sheer unrepresentability of terror, the repression of the dominant accounts? Or are we voyeurs fascinated with and repelled by exhibitions of terror and suffering? What does the exposure of the violated body yield? Proof of black sentience or the inhumanity of the peculiar institution? Or does the pain of the other merely provide us with an opportunity for self-reflection? At issue here is the precariousness of empathy and the uncertain line between witness and spectator. Only more obscene in the brutality unleashed at the whipping post is the demand that this suffering be materialized and evidenced by the display of the tortured body, or endless recitations of the ghastly and the terrible.
So, damn though. So essentially, she's questioning why do we have the urge to
every day, and a lot of
to repeat these images of violence,
right? And what does it do for you? Because I know I was talking to actually a couple of people when the I think Eric Garner video came out, and they were just like, it's so sad watching that over and over again, and then the next day you see another one, and then the next day you see another one. So, don't watch it. Like, this is like affecting you mentally. Why are you watching this, and why are you sharing this?
Yeah.
And it's like, not only that, but in the context of these iPhone videos of the police, a lot of the families have gone out and said, do not share that video because I don't want the memory of my loved one just to be their murder. There was so much more than being murdered by the police or vigilante justice.
Right.
And people don't listen to that, because I think in our collective black memory of Emmett Till and Mamie Till saying, yeah, this is the face of American whatever, so, view my son,
sure.
open casket.
So just to, I guess, follow up with that, I mean, that's definitely something to think about what Hartman's talking about, because I had actually recently been shown the full video of Philando Castile's murder, and that
Yep, I walked out on that.
that kind of messed me up, because I unconsciously or not, and through some previous conversations with you, I had started to remove myself from like re-ingesting or continually repeating watching these things, because it wasn't doing anything for me, and it was putting me in a pretty negative space where I'm looking at any person around me, especially white people, and being like, well, fuck your whole life, like,
Right.
why do you get to be happy and I don't? So it doesn't really do anything for me. And yet at the same time, I have used images of people's deaths as parts of artwork. So it's a
It's a very precarious. I understand it's a very precarious situation, but in the context of a fairly well-known, successful celebrity, to be using it to promote. He's releasing new music. He had a new song Sunday or something like that on SNL. Plus, This Is America. Clearly, he's gearing up for maybe an album release.
Yeah, absolutely.
On top of his tour, on top of Atlanta, on top of all those other things. So, in the context of his year, it seems very disingenuous. Like, I can tap into this that Common was doing with Black America Again, that Beyonce was doing with Freedom, that Janelle Monáe was doing with Screwed, you know, and the new American anthem, I forget what the last song on her album is, it's America or something, without sensationalized violence. So it's Common and Bradford Young, who shot Common's Black America Again. They actually shot along the route that the police van took as they were murdering Freddie Gray. But
without
showing the violence of, and there's like a celebration, there's traditional dances, these beautiful portraits of Black families, Black people, in a studio setting, and it's like hinting at what is going on in America in terms of police and Black people without being sensationalistically violent. And the same thing with Freedom, where Beyonce invited the Mothers of the Movement to have their celebration of their children's life. And in the Janelle Monáe, I can't remember what happens in the Janelle song, but it's not like...
It's not shooting somebody.
It's not sensationalized violence.
Okay.
You know?
Well, you know, as one who's generally an apologist and kind of glazes over everything, I just wanted to touch on a couple points that a blogger named Awesomely Lovey pointed out in her read on the This Is America video. And essentially, it's if you've watched it more than once, start to pay attention to the background. There's a lot of things going on in the background that Lovey pointed out. Specifically, in the second half of the video, after Childish murders the choir, when he's dancing with those kids, she kind of reads that as, you know, the kids or the youth are watching what people are doing right now, and they're more or less in step with what Gambino's seeing, which is that you're stuck viewing what's happening in the world.
But that's bullshit, because he was one who murdered them. He's not watching them be murdered. He literally takes the gun and shoots them down.
For what's going on in the background, though, which is that police are beating up other people. There's a man who jumps off a second story balcony. There's a white horse that walks across in the back of the frame, which she read as one of the horsemen of the apocalypse, being, you know, pestilence and death, and general chaos that could be viewed as rioting or protest from the past couple years that has happened. And
well, then what does this do in terms of that? Because he's doing exactly what he's watched critiquing in the background or whatever. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Sure, it doesn't make any sense to you, but clearly it still hit a nerve, because Everybody is talking about it. I'm not to say that means that it's right,
Right,
but
no, I get that.
it did catch people's attention just as much or more than comments by Kanye West talking about slavery.
Right, no,
being a
I get
choice.
that.
Yeah.
But like the point about this is a conversation piece is okay, but
How do we move past just doing these conversation pieces? Because is that basically, because at the end of the
Well,
day,
one, yeah, because
after
it's
this
like,
sells records, we're
what's
going to say,
going to happen?
oh, we're so woke, we're so
Exactly.
cultured. But
because
what is that going to change about somebody in the justice system that, needs saving?
Because if he had like, this is a felony defense fund or some shit like that.
Sure.
Or this is a thing to raise money for
That
water
girl
defense
who's
initiatives.
on death row in the South, she's on death row for self-defense against, I think, her father, who
Oh wow.
who was sexually assaulting her for years.
I didn't know.
She got life and potentially the death sentence.
Even the I don't know the specifics of the story, but the kid who was blamed for the police murdering his friend. Right? Something like that. A defense fund for them. Something. Because the thing about raising awareness or starting a conversation is when the conversation's done, what do you do? And back in the 70s, the 60s and 70s, a lot of the South American filmmakers were part of the third cinema movement.
Sure.
And they were just like, we'll throw up a film just to get people because they want to watch a film. But we're going to turn the film off halfway and we're going to talk about how we can organize against American imperialism, how we can organize for unions, how we can organize for better working conditions for everybody, better relations between the school and students and stuff like that. And fuck the film. What the fuck is a film or a music video? Like,
Sure.
what's that? What are you doing?
Sure.
You can raise awarenessness, but to what end? And when you take raising awarenessness, if I said that right, and you tie it to an action,
Yeah.
like we talked about with the Black Panthers, and again, there's a whole bunch of messy shit with the Black Panthers, but
Sure.
when you can show that a community can come together and feed,
House and educate.
educate, clothe, and do primary medical care, oh, this can happen. This is what a society could look like without capitalist exploitation. So I don't understand the point of consciousness raising when in the context
Without a follow-through
in the
of actually
context
making
of
it.
a music industry.
Sure.
And the same thing goes to Common and Beyonce. Like, okay, that's nice that you're expressing that, but again, you're making money off of this. And I know Common and Beyonce are involved in
Yeah.
a lot of things, but
And who's to say what Donald's going to do with this?
right.
But as it stands, maybe generally we should just be thinking about, okay, as we're consuming all this entertainment, what are we that is trying to raise awareness to
Right.
issues and social justice and whatnot. What are we, not just the artists, but what are we actually doing past that? Because I know I got to enjoy that video in my comfortable room with central AC, and I get to step away from it and not think about, my child being lost or,
Right.
my father being,
It's the same
murdered.
for me. I get to critique it with the comforts and luxury.
So we'll leave it at that. I mean, what did you think about the video? Do you agree? Definitely check out
Scenes of Subjection.
Scenes
by
of Subjection
Saidiya Hartman.
by Saidiya Hartman. Definitely check out Awesomely Lovey's blog. It's awesomelylevy.com. We'll leave the links below. Like always, please share, retweet, follow, comment, like, all that good stuff. You can reach me, Temi, on Instagram at itzebra11 and on Twitter, itzebra. And where can we find you at, Rory?
Instagram at remblues and Twitter at rem_blues.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, niggas.eatin, and we'll catch you shortly with a full-on interview
Episode.
conversation. You get it. All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.